that you want to get the ball to, you better get him more up the field.
36-yard attempt for David Akers, who, as you can see, has missed only one under 40 yards at home. 36-yard attempt is good. So Philly gets only 3, still down by 18, 28-10.
NASN Trivia Timeout. What quarterback holds the record for number of touchdown passes in one season? Stay tuned. The answer is coming up.
I'll trade you a Red Sox home jersey and a Rangers t-shirt for that Pirates jacket.
No way! I want that Cardinals hoodie and that Braves away uniform and an item to be named later.
You drive a hard bargain. Majestic Athletic, the official uniform supplier for all 30 Major League Baseball teams. Available now all over Europe at NASN.com.
Of Sunday Night Football on ESPN coming your way 1 week from tonight. The Indianapolis Colts and Peyton Manning looking to rebound from their only loss of the season, happened today against the Patriots. They'll be in San Diego to take on the Chargers. Let's send it back out to Lincoln Financial Field in Philly.
Philadelphia, right now, Philadelphia pretty quiet. The folks at Lincoln Financial Field, their team is down by 18 as the kickoff is taken by the rookie Isaiah Stanback. Out to the 23-yard line. And Romo will go to work there. Tony 14 of 18 tonight for 195 yards and 2 scores. 28-10, Cowboys.
This offseason, the Dolphins truly became menacing creatures. With the addition of fiery linebacker Joey Porter, opposing QBs will dread trips to South Florida. The ultra-aggressive Pro Bowler will bring intensity and leadership to a defense that ranked 4th in the league last season. With his big playability, Porter should have no problem adding to his 60 career sacks, as well as Miami's total in the win column.
They wear the school colors for a few fleeting years, leave behind moments we'll always remember, and take with them the spirit to excel in all they do. That's why the NCAA corporate family provides scholarships, sponsors youth programs, and supports all 23 NCAA sports. They know that while the excitement of college sports is shown in moments, the value lasts a lifetime.
Live college football continues on NASN with an exclusive doubleheader. First up in the Big Ten, Mike Hart brings his Wolverines to Wisconsin. Then in the SEC, it's the Deep South's oldest rivalry as Auburn and Georgia meet in Sanford Stadium. A live college football doubleheader starting with College Game Day this Saturday only on NASN.
Sports complex in South Philly. It's beautiful. There's where the Phillies play, Citizens Bank Park. You widen out. The lighted building is the Spectrum, which has been there for 40 years. Then there's the Lincoln Financial Center where we are, and the other building, which is darkened right now, is the home of the 76ers and the Flyers, the Wachovia Center. So you have 4 buildings in this complex in South Philly, and we start here with a penalty. And John, you've been coming here for years.
I was going to say, Flozell finally got his.
So sooner or later, there will be a full start on Flozell Adams.
Right of the snap, full start, number 76, 5-yard penalty, first down.
But John, you remember when this was the site of the old Municipal Stadium. They played the Army-Navy game, and then they had Veterans Stadium in 1971. And then this is not part of the complex, but that's Franklin Field, where the Eagles played up until the early 70s.
Yeah, and that's where the Eagles won their championship in 1960. Yeah. Chuck Bednarik playing both ways, center and middle linebacker. Ronald Van Brocklin, the quarterback.
One of the Penn relays. Howard Cosell got sick there one night.
And then what happened?
And it's debatable. It depends who you hear it from. This is Julius Jones up to the 23-yard line. But he got in a car and he went back to New York before the game was over.
Yeah.
Couldn't pitch a complete game.
I'd heard that story.
That part of it's true. Some of this crowd right now may not pitch a complete game either if the Eagles can't.
They were so fired up when the game started, and then McNabb fumbling on that first series just took all the air out of him. They've really never gotten it back.
Jones around the right side, and he'll pick up a first down, and the Dallas Cowboys are the primary reason for that, because they came out. Remember, the first play of the game from scrimmage was McNabb losing the ball, Cowboys recovering, going in for a touchdown. Philly was able to answer, but since then, 21 unanswered points before the Philadelphia field goal, and it's 28-10.
You know, and I think you see a lot of impressive things about this Cowboy team, especially the offense. But this offensive line, to me, is a big part of what they're doing. I mean, they have completely dominated in the first half, and now in the second half, they've completely dominated.
Romo gets it away to Owens before he gets death. And Terrell Owens has another first down. You had Chris Gokon getting in and getting to Romo as he got the pass away, but not before Terrell Owens has a 15-yard reception and his 8th catch of the game.
You know, and this is the stuff that he does best. I mean, he gets in tight, and when he lines up tight, he's usually going to run a crossing pattern. And he does that as well as he does anything, and then run after the catch. Tony Romo did take a shot there at the end, didn't he? But I mean, that's the thing that, you know, I didn't think the Cowboys did enough of last year is narrow down Terrell Owens' splits like this and run him on crossing patterns.
There's Romo again, and he's going to dump it off to Jones, and he has a lot of room to roam. So even when Romo improvises and gets his pass away and the little dump passes or checkoffs or whatever, now you got to fight. And this is a pretty good one for the middle of the game, because you got a couple of guys going right to the ground. Mark Colombo involved in the middle of the fray. That's about as good as you'll see in the middle of a game.
Right, because as you say, those things are usually saved for the last 2 minutes.
They're normally pushy, shovey. LaJuan Ramsey may have been the eagle involved.
Yeah, Colombo's still trying to put himself back together.
Personal foul.
His equipment.
Unnecessary roughness. Defense. Number 77. Late hit, helmet to helmet hit as the runner was held up. 15-yard penalty. First down.
And that's why Colombo was so wild, because he was upset at the personal foul against LaJuan Ramsey.
Yeah, Ramsey's number 77. You're going to see he's down, Jones is down, and he just comes in and not only hits him late and hits him when he's down, but hits him helmet to helmet. Whoa, that's a cheap one.
Well, if that's not an ejection, I don't know what is.
Yeah, you know, and that's when you say, you know, what's Colombo doing in there? That's a time when someone does that to one of your players, you have to jump in there.
Yep.
I mean, you have to. I mean, that's going to be a fine, and as you say, that should be an ejection.
It should be. It'll definitely be a big fine. This is Barber, who gets strung to the outside by Jaquay Thomas.
This is where the officials, I think, are going to have to tighten up everything, because this is one where the dish can run away with a spoon here. I mean, if they don't watch out and and keep the penalties, and if someone starts something, just get them out of there. I mean, don't allow that stuff to go on. Julius Jones is over there still trying to straighten out his neck.
Yeah. Jones and Barber, that 1-2 punch. They just about split carries tonight. Barber 11 carries, Jones has 10. Barber 3 catches, Jones 3 catches. Romo to the end zone, and it is pulled in. Touchdown, Jason Witten. against William James. So Witten, the tight end, who mainly lives over the middle, goes to the outside here, goes down the sideline, stays in bounds, makes the catch, 20-yard touchdown.
Here's Witten. He goes out there motion, so he's a tight end, but in this case, he becomes the wide receiver. And he runs right up the boundary, and Tony Romo puts it in there perfectly, where either Jason Witten is going to catch it or it'll be out of bounds. That was a perfect throw.
Beautifully designed play. Gokhan had initially, then the tight end and behind the linebacker. James gets there late. The pass is perfect. The catch is made. Folk tacks on the extra point. And the Dallas Cowboys are 19.5 minutes away from going up to the Meadowlands with a 7-1 record. 35-10, Cowboys.
The NHL continues on NASN with a live Hockey Night in Canada doubleheader. First up, it's an original 6 matchup as Jagr brings his Rangers to Toronto. Then we head straight to the Saddle Dome for some heated action between the Flames and the Oilers. A live Hockey Night in Canada doubleheader Saturday night only on NASN.
Now, espn is available in French and German. Follow the great clubs of Ligue 1 from France and Bundesliga clubs from Germany's top league. On the French site, find a special section devoted to Les Bleus, where you can get the latest info on L'Équipe de France in addition to statistics and results. And on the German site, National Elf is featured with news and results about the national club. espn has all of Europe covered now in English, French, German, and Spanish. espn Log on today.
Hi there, folks. I'm Tim McCarver, thanking you for watching my show exclusively here on NASN, Europe's leading channel for North American sports. Join me each week as I conduct in-depth interviews with the biggest stars from the world of sports. Whether you enjoy football, baseball, basketball, hockey, you name it. Check out NASN.com for the latest schedules and guest lists, and we'll see you right here on Chevrolet's Tim McCarver Show on NASN.
Tony Romo and Jason Garrett, and what a combination they have been as the season reaches the halfway mark. I mean, Jason Garrett, first-year offensive coordinator, has now guided an offense that has not scored fewer than 24 points in any game this season. There are the standings, and of course Dallas would go to 7-1 unless they collapse tonight. With the Cowboys coming in averaging 32 points a game, and already 35 tonight with 19.5 minutes to play. And even the kickoffs take good Dallas bounces here. Instead of going toward the sideline, it stays in bounds, and Buckholder gets ripped, and then you've got to scramble for the ball, and Scott Green will come in and try to figure out who's got it. The initial indication is that the Philadelphia Eagles have indeed recovered their own fumble. They'll keep it, but a big hill to climb for McNabb and company. Down by 25 at the link.
NASN brings you unrivaled coverage of the best sports North America has to offer. Get the best seats in the house for the biggest games in the best leagues 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Watch the NFL from preseason all the way to the playoffs with over 60 regular season games, the postseason, and live coverage of Super Bowl 42 from Phoenix. Get live coverage of every game of the World Series and don't miss an inning of the MLB regular season with up to 260 regular season games and the All-Star Game live. Experience the most comprehensive coverage of the NHL anywhere in Europe with over 200 live regular season games, the 2008 NHL All-Star Game, and the Stanley Cup Finals live. NASN takes you to pit lane in the high-octane world of NASCAR with live Busch Series racing and keeps you up to date with the Nextel Cup and Truck Series with daily episodes of NASCAR Now. Get courtside with the best conferences in NCAA college basketball with a packed schedule of games between the top teams and unrivaled coverage of March Madness. See the power and skill of the finest players in college football with full season and bowl series coverage, including all the BCS games, live. And with all your favorite news, highlights, and analysis shows, including PTI and Around the Horn, you won't miss a minute from any of your favorite sports all season long. Log on to NASN.com now and join the world of NASN, your leader in North American sports.
Most games coached against the Cowboys. It would figure Joe Gibbs the leader at 29. Bill Parcells 18. This is Andy Reid's 17th game against the Cowboys. He's had a lot of success at 12-4. But to this point tonight, 35-10, they have to start by giving the ball to Westbrook. We talked about Andy Reid at the beginning, and John addressed it as well. But it's a story that here in Philadelphia is so big. And one of the toughest things about it, I mean, look, everything about this is tough with two kids who've been sentenced to up to 23 months in prison, both with drug problems. There's no question about that. Addicted to drugs and what the judge said this week and all of that. But everything in your private life gets played out on the front pages and on the airwaves. 2nd and 4 from the 21. Then to the outside. That's caught by Westbrook. And John, even high-profile CEOs who have kids who have those types of problems, it's sort of quiet. But when you're the head coach of a National Football League team like the Philadelphia Eagles, you got to get up, and this is in the paper every day.
Yeah, and it's something that Andy Reid has been living with for a couple years. I mean, it's just kind of come to a head now, but it's something that has been in and out, and and working with him, and trying to help him, to get out of this and have a good life. And you have to remember that Andy has 5 kids. I mean, he has 3 other kids, and we never talked about those, but he has to worry about them too. And it's just something you wish would never happen to anyone. And as you say, being a head coach in the NFL, everything is magnified. But I'll say this: I've known Andy Reid for a long time, and he's a good man. I mean, he is a good guy. He's a good coach, and I mean, some of the stuff that they've done to him, or they're doing to him, he really doesn't deserve.
Yeah, but as a parent, I mean, if you're a parent, you understand and you sympathize with anybody who has to go through this situation. As you say, so many people in football know him. He is one of the good guys. And your heart just goes out to him and his wife Tammy, as Westbrook breaks some tackles and gets out to the 48-yard line. Let's go to Andrea.
What?
Once again, we'll go to Andrea as we have a flag at the end of the play here as we get a little chippy. Basket and Hamlin involved in the action. We'll go to Andrea in a second. Been relatively a penalty-free game to this point. Only 4
Personal
in the game.
foul,
This is the 5th.
unnecessary roughness, defense, number 26. After the play was over, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Ken Hamlin. Okay, now to Andrea.
Well, Andy Reid is not subject to the NFL's personal conduct policy, but I talked to Gene Upshaw, the head of the Players Union, and he said that he hadn't heard anything from any players around the league about a possible double standard between the way players and coaches are held accountable. Now, remember, Commissioner Roger Goodell had said that he holds coaches to a higher standard. Now, Upshaw told me that he will reach out and talk to the team leaders on the Eagles, Brian Dawkins, Donovan McNabb, Takeo Spikes, next week to see what they think and if they think there's any double standard. But Upshaw says he feels pretty sure that there is not.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, somebody likened this to the Michael Vick thing. It has nothing to do with any of that.
No, Andy's not guilty of anything, and like you say, it's something that we're all parents are. When you don't have something like that, you're lucky, and you have to be a little lucky. And sometimes you're unlucky, and and things happen. I mean, we all think that we're good parents. We can do this and we can do that, and our kids won't get in trouble. But you don't know them, and they go off to school, they go off to those things. You just have to hope that you're lucky enough that nothing bad happens to them.
That is not caught in bounds. It was juggled by Reggie Brown, and he was out of bounds. And you saw that shot of Jeff Lurie. And just to wrap up the story with Andy Reid, Jeff, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, saying the organization supports him entirely. And he said he would not step down as the head coach during the season. And who knows, as I said at the beginning of the show, what the future holds. But right now, the future for the Philadelphia Eagles is a little grim because they're on the cusp of going to 3-5, and if that's the case, they'll be 4 games back in the NFC East.
And even more important than that, they're not playing very well. You know, it's not one of those things where, well, they're really playing well. We had a, turnover. We had a little bad luck here or there. I mean, they're just not playing well in any area.
And that puts an exclamation point on it right there as you're saying that, John. DeMarcus Ware is there, grabs Donovan by the foot. He's remained upright for a second and a half, still couldn't find anybody open, and Ware gets the sack.
Watch DeMarcus Ware there, how low he gets. You know, that's the old thing we always talk about. Whoever wins the pad level will usually win the battle, and DeMarcus Ware did. I mean, he gets his pads underneath William Thomas's.
Sam blocked at the punt. Spinning, back spinner. It's fair caught at the 11-yard line by Patrick Creighton. So for McNabb, and that expression kind of sums up the season going to 3-5. We mentioned he's played 2 very good games. He was tremendous against Detroit on a day when they scored 8 touchdowns. He played very well against Minnesota. Apart from that, well, when you look at the Green Bay or the Philadelphia losses this year, they come from all different directions. They lost to Green Bay on opening day primarily because of special teams. Lost to Washington week 2, no offense until the end of the game. Lost to the Giants in week 4. They missed the left tackle Thomas, and the Giants had 12 sacks. And then lost to Chicago, and the defense yielded a 97-yard end of the game drive. Barber taken down by Bunkley.
And tonight for them is one of those things that there's no yeah but. It's no yeah but our defense played well, or yeah but we our passing game was good, or yeah but we had a good running game, or yeah but Donovan McNabb is back. I mean, there's no positive here. There's nothing that you build on.
And that's a good point. Yeah, but there's nothing to be happy about tonight. Only know is they're going on the road next week to Washington. End of the quarter, end of 3. All Big D, 35-10 Dallas. Sunday night football from Philadelphia. Back after these messages from your local NBC station.
Hard-hitting action of American football continues on NASN, home of the NFL. We head deeper into the second half of the season. The action has been ferocious, and NASN has another slate of top games. This Sunday, it's a live doubleheader when the Minnesota Vikings invade Green Bay to battle the Packers. And then the Dallas Cowboys face the New York Giants. Coverage begins with Sunday NFL Countdown, live this Sunday on NASN.
Druids Glen Golf Resort, voted European Golf Resort of the Year 2005. A golfer's paradise in the Garden of Ireland. 2 championship golf courses of contrasting design. The luxurious Marriott Druids Glen Hotel and Country Club, featuring 148 specially appointed guest rooms and a magnificent spa and health centre. Visit our driving range, pro shops, golf academy, and get your golfing tips or tuition from our resident PGA teaching professional.
This November, NASN brings you the very best of North American sports. The NFL season continues with a special Thanksgiving feast of a live triple header. Catch all the action from the NHL, including live hockey night and Canada doubleheaders. And college football continues as the brightest young stars gear up for traditional end-of-season rivalries and Thanksgiving Day matchups. Just some of your highlights this November on NASN.
Taking a look at the rules of the game. 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalties include all of these things: striking an opponent with a fist, kicking or kneeing an opponent, striking an opponent to the head or neck with their forearm, elbow, hands, whether or not it is made below the neck area with your initial contact. Also, roughing the kicker, roughing the passer, malicious unnecessary roughness. There's all kinds of things that are outside of the rules and will draw a 15-yard penalty.
Battles, tough defense, low scores for the opponent. You don't think of this.
To his right. Big night continues for Owens. And Terrell picks up 8 yards. So, you know, you think about the Cowboys. The season ends last year on the botched hold by Romo in Seattle, and then Parcells retires, and then Wade Phillips, who was the defensive coordinator of the San Diego Chargers and did a magnificent job last year at San Diego before they lost to New England in the second round of the playoffs, winds up getting the job. And I'm thinking about as Jerry Jones is a very happy man, obviously, in the visiting owner's box in Philadelphia, how things have changed drastically over the last 8 months. And that pass is caught by Owens, and Owens gets all the way out to the 38-yard line. And Terrell Owens' huge night continues. He's taken down by Rogelio Hansen. That's his 10th catch. You know, John, you got a coach, Bill Parcells. Is he going to be there? Is he not going to be there? Then he goes. Then you have a quarterback who you think might be pretty good, but they played not very well at the end of last season. You got a lot of question marks. Now, all of a sudden, halfway through this season, Phillips, I mean, there's a love affair going on now with him. Jason Garrett looks like the second coming of any offensive coordinator. And Romo's got a $67 million contract.
Right, and I think that those were the perfect guys in those places. I think when Jerry Jones hired Bill Parcells, the Dallas Cowboys needed Bill Parcells. And I think when they hired Wade Phillips, he was the perfect guy. You know, I mean, after Bill Parcells, they needed a Wade Phillips. And then Wade Phillips needed a Jason Garrett. And Jerry Jones kind of put the whole deal together.
And right now, he's on the verge of going to 7-1. Timeout.
The hard-hitting action of American football continues on NASN, home of the NFL. We head deeper into the second half of the season. The action has been ferocious, and NASN has another slate of top games. This Sunday, it's a live doubleheader when the Minnesota Vikings invade Green Bay to battle the Packers. And then the Dallas Cowboys face the New York Giants. Coverage begins with Sunday NFL Countdown, live this Sunday on NASN.
You must take the A train. Listen to those rails that coming on the floor. Get on the A train.
The NHL continues on NASN with a live Hockey Night in Canada doubleheader. First up, it's an original 6 matchup as Jagger brings his Rangers to Toronto. Then we head straight to the Saddle Dome for some heated action between the Flames and the Oilers. A live Hockey Night in Canada doubleheader Saturday night only on NASN.
Look ahead to tomorrow night, an AFC North Division battle. The Baltimore Ravens look to gain some ground on the Pittsburgh Steelers, who lead the division. Check it out here tomorrow night on ESPN. For now, we'll go back out to Philadelphia.
Top 35-10. First and 10 from their own 40-yard line. Owens has caught 10 passes tonight. Barber up to the 41. We were talking about Wade Phillips, and Wade's been around 31 years in the league, and there he was as the Eagles defensive coordinator 86 through 88 under Buddy Ryan. And there you see Jeff Fisher as well on that staff coaching the defensive backs.
It's a pretty good defensive group there, isn't it? Those guys have a lot of influence on the way defense is played in the NFL.
Right. I mean, Jeff Fisher now is the dean And Wade has coached 3 teams full-time and has been the head coach of 2 other teams on a fill-in basis. And that is over the middle, caught by Witten, who loses his helmet but still keeps going. A penalty marker is down, and Witten takes it to the 5-yard line. Jason Witten, in a play that you're going to see replayed a lot of times this week, losing his helmet and taking it all the way to the 5-yard line. For the moment, a 53-yard gain, pending the call.
I've always liked him, but now I like him more than ever because, you know, he's a blocker. He's a tough guy.
There is no foul on the play. The receiver had both feet on ground when he was hit. There's no foul.
I mean, he can do all those things, and then to get hit and lose your hat and keep running without your hat.
Ooh.
And he took. I mean, that is a real blow that he took to his helmet, head to head, and then he kept running. He's looking to the outside. He's looking behind him. Whoa, that is a whap. But you know, when you can do that, then you're a tough football player.
I'm not sure I've ever seen a guy. I can't remember a guy running that far without his helmet.
You know, I remember a preseason game once where Steve Young did as a quarterback. Maybe not that far, but he got his hat knocked off and kept running.
There's a flag. He must have gone, I'm guessing, 20, 25 yards without his helmet. So Witten has his helmet knocked off on the hit from Quentin Michael. Bloody nose to boot, but he takes it inside the 10 for a 1st and goal. Now we've got a flag here from Scott Green.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask, tackler, half the distance to the goal, 1st down.
We've seen Witten do some tough things tonight. I mean, we've seen him, you know, block as a tight end, and we've seen him go inside and wham a nose tackle. We see him get outside as a wide receiver. We see him take on that hit, not lose his feet, lose his helmet, but continue to go and be aware of where defenders are. That'll make you blink your eyes.
Referee is not stopping this contest.
But he did have to take a standing 8.
Here's Barber to the 1-yard line and another flag. So all of a sudden we had an almost penalty-free game for 3 quarters, and now they're coming in bunches.
Now, if this were the New England Patriots, you would say that they're going to run the score up.
Offside, defense, right tackle, half the distance to the goal, still 1st down.
Well, here comes Witten back into the game.
And like I said, I've always liked him and I've always respected him, and you know, again, because of his blocking and his toughness, you know, as well as his receiving. But you know, he stepped it up one more degree here tonight.
From the 2-yard line, 1st and goal. Barber is the running back. Marion Barber can only get to the 1-yard line. Fourth quarter, we talked about it before. Barber, as good as anybody in the league. In fact, he would rank number 1 at the moment, 236 rush yards, 2nd in the league. Peterson actually passed him today, Adrian, but 7.4 yards per carry in the 4th is tops. 4 20-yard runs, 2 40 or more yard runs. And right now, I would say he's odds on to score a touchdown here.
Right now, a play action pass would really be effective.
Not even the play action. Actually, it's a pass for Owens, and it's incomplete as Dawkins gets over there to bat it away.
Yep, a play action because the defense has really been selling out on the run. You know, if you would fake them in there, you know, you'd be able to get it to Witten or someone like that. They just wanted that one-on-one match to the outside and just give